unexpected character development for Yang and RWBY in this episode of RWBY, Volume 2. Finally, the events are revealed behind RWBY's mother, like the events of how she technically died. We don't know where she went, we don't know how she died, but the mystery behind whatever happened to her was kind of unveiled in this episode. For instance, Summer Rose, one of the only characters in this series that we know of that is currently dead, and was actually mentioned to be dead in the first ever trailer of RWBY. If you don't know, there was a gravestone to Summer Rose in the trailer, the red trailer of RWBY, and that was the gravestone of RWBY's mother. And to finally see this actually brought back up, we're finding more stuff out about, Yang and RWBY's father, more about the mother of RWBY, and to see this character development, it was really shocking how Rooster Teeth actually had this type of episode. I mean, they have really been on the ball this entire season. Volume 2, they've definitely been on the ball with the character development and the build-up for the overall major plot in the future, and the foreshadowing. But with this episode, like I said, it takes a step back from all the different fights and stuff, and it tries to develop our characters. And I'm glad Rooster Teeth is trying to develop these characters, and they're trying to build up this mysterious death. Most likely, if they continue to go with this character development, we might see an appearance of Crow, the uncle of, Yang and RWBY. We might finally get to see an appearance of him in Volume 2. I don't know. But to see this entire conversation brought up and how Yang was able to open up and actually say what she wanted to say about, Summer Rose and tell Blake how she felt, it definitely shows you the type of connection these two characters have. For instance, Blake and Yang, and how much they trust each other on the same team. And it shows you the character development, the different standpoints of how far they have come since episode 1 of RWBY. I mean, remember Blake in the past in volume 1 or season 1 of RWBY, how she was very quiet, she didn't like talking to people and stuff? Well, now in this season, she's starting to open up and she's listening to her peers, like for instance Yang in this episode. You can really see a lot of character development. I love how Rooster Teeth is really trying to implement that. But, okay, one thing I think Rooster Teeth did a good job of was the entire bit of how they used the atmosphere of the surrounding mystery behind Summer Rose's death. For instance, we find out that RWBY and Yang's father went kind of crazy a little bit. He went crazy, went off the deep end, he just went crazy. And they don't technically know where he's at the moment, whereabouts unknown. And pretty much the mother is the exact same position. The mother is dead. We know she's dead, but they don't know exactly what happened to the mother. All we know is we can have an unexpected plot twist, and the mother could be the main antagonist of the series. Think about that for a second. But still, the thing is that the way Rooster Teeth took the time to do this, there must be a real reason why they would take the time to go into this development. That means that we're going to probably have something major revealed in Volume 2. Now, let's talk about the animation of that scene. Now, I like the overall, like I said, the artwork and atmosphere of the flashback to when you saw Yang pulling her sister RWBY and, the little cart or whatever when she's pulling it through the forest. I like the art style. The art style looked really nice. It was completely different from the normal art style that RWBY usually has with the CGI. But I am not going to lie and say that animation, for instance, the CGI animation, was good. That was incredibly lazy. I want to be honest here. I love this series. I have said it more times than I can count. But that was incredibly lazy with the animation when you see Yang just skidding across the ground. Like, there was no animation with her walking in the flashback. She was just skidding across the ground, like moonwalking forwards. That was incredibly lazy. I'm just gonna be honest, okay? I gotta mention that since I noticed it, and honestly, I understand most likely people are going to argue and say it's a flashback, let it go, but that clearly was lazy because you saw, Yang just walking, like, skidding across the floor for about, 3 to 4 seconds, and, it just looked really awkward and weird, and it killed the overall mood and atmosphere of the scene. I want to say that. Now, besides that, I do like how this episode ended off. For instance, it ended off at the dance, it leaves off at a cliffhanger, and you have it to where all these couples are starting to have happy times. You have the main principal of the school. He states that these are the times that we should always remember. These are happy, good times and stuff like that. Dancing is similar to battle. Pretty much, I love the entire metaphor of how the principal said stuff like that, and I'm willing to bet it'll have something, I guess, important later on. Like, later on in the future, most likely, way down the road, like a couple volumes ahead, they might look back to this specific scene that's going to transpire to this night, for instance, at the ball, and they'll look back at it and say, those were happy times, and they'll probably look at these dark times in the future, because I mean, this series has shown some dark elements, it has, so I wonder if Rooster Teeth is willing to continue going down that dark path, or are they going to keep it, you know, a happy-go-lucky, friendly type show. I mean, it's going to have those dark themes, but I mean, I wonder if they're going to make it into a straight-out dark series, like mature type series. I don't know. But overall, good episode. I enjoyed the episode. A lot of character development. Anyone like, if you're a Yang and RWBY fan and you like Blake too, you'll have a lot of good character development there. And when you see, you know, John's, I guess, feelings getting crushed in this episode. His crush, he was crushing on Wise, for instance, you know, he sees her confess to another guy, and so you can see how he gets upset. And it's really sad. It's really sad seeing how John, you know, got upset, and he's probably going to be alone that night at the ball, and so that makes you kind of upset for his character. Tell me your thoughts about this episode of, you know, RWBY Volume 2. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? And what did you feel about the backstory to, you know, Yang and RWBY? I mean, what did you feel about Summer Rose? Do you feel like Crow might make an appearance eventually, like we might finally get to see his face? Do you feel like the reason why Rooster Teeth decided to unveil this entire information was because they're going to focus on it this volume? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.